Hello, my friends. Andy over today, the Facebook Live TV show, coming to you live from Brea, California. My mic is higher than it normally is because I wanted to show you how to do something in regard to the green screen. I have a number of things I want to talk about in regard to best practices. Now, I'm not going to go all the way into how maybe a professional movie shoot may deal with a green screen, because there's a lot of other things that when you're dealing with Final Cut Pro or whatever editing software you're going to be using, that will come into play. But I wanted to at least hey there, Nobby. Going green. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going green. But in regard to using StreamYard, which has just launched, this is only now, gosh, what's today? What is today? Wednesday? So this is the third day, I believe, that green screen has been available. So if you want to start testing out StreamYard, you're going to go to getstreamyard.live, getstreamyard.live. And I believe it is part of the free version. You know what? I probably should have checked that before I came on live. But I think it is. I think it is. If Gage happens to pop on, or Dan, or anybody, or April, Roga is on and knows the answer to that, I believe it is, because I think it's just part of the settings. All right. But we're going to go through some of the best practices as we go here. So we got our green screen here, of course, set up. This is it's kind of like, what's the word? Like yoga pants. I have it stretched across my background here. Let me kind of show you what it looks like. This so you don't think I'm super clean with this. Let me go ahead and back up here. So you see how it's all stretched out there? I just made sure that my camera, was positioned in a way that when I zoom in, it actually takes away all the other things. So you may think this is a super professional looking thing, when in fact it's just like stretched out using thumbtacks. The other thing is you can see the whiteboard in the background. So I'm going to be talking about that in just 1 second. All right. So let's go ahead and just start with one of the first things you need to understand in regard to StreamYard. With StreamYard, the beautiful thing is they set it up so that you can use it directly in the StreamYard dashboard. You don't need any additional software. You don't need to get an additional plugin or anything like that. It works directly in StreamYard, and I'm going to show you how to do that in 1 second. First thing you need to know is that you can use either the blue screen setting or the green screen setting. Now, typically people know this as green screen, so that's why you hear it just when referred to this thing where you're going to take away your background and insert a different background. That's utilizing green screen. That's the power of green screen, is that it takes away the green and you utilize something else, which I'll show you in just 1 second. All right. So, but in the case of StreamYard, it can be, oh, thank you. Look at April was on. Green screen is on free and free versions. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, April. I tested last night with my green screen and had a huge issue with my mouth moving way after I'm going to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So we'll be talking about that. All right. So back to my banners here, is that either blue screen or green screen is utilized. I was going to do something else and I forgot what it was. All right. So anyway, back to my agenda. All right. So when would you use blue over green? What you want to do is consider using blue or green screen, depending on what your brand is and what colors you use. So some people like, I'm trying to think of one that uses green. I'm sure there is one. Oh, let's go with Kajabi. Kajabi is blue, right? So if Kajabi is always going to be wearing blue shirts in their branding in regard to their attire when they go live, you obviously don't want to use a blue screen, because now your body is going to be invisible and your face is going to be floating around the screen. Of course, opposite of that, if you're using green, maybe you're part of Greenpeace and all your uniforms are green and you want to use a green screen, you are going to use a blue screen instead because of that thing. Another thing you need to understand is that if you have blonde hair, sometimes there's a little bit of a hue of green in there, and you'll see flickering in your blonde hair. And some of the shadows kind of become greenish and that kind of stuff, especially if you are a swimmer in chlorine. You gotta get this little bit of green tinge. Now, my daughter actually had green hair, so she would want to use the blue screen as opposed to the green screen. Currently, her hair is red, so if she ever comes on, I don't have to worry about it if I'm utilizing a green screen. All right, so understanding those things. Your makeup, right? If you're using green liner under your eyes or over your eyes, I'm not sure how you use it. I think it's over your eyes. Who knows? You're now going to be able to see this background in your eyes, and it's going to look really odd. All right. So if you're using a green, makeup, green hair, green jewelry or accessories, right? All of those things you got to take into consideration before you go live. If you're going to be utilizing green screen or blue, again, if you're using blue sapphire as your jewelry or something like that, then you're going to see just a little bit. It'll be maybe irritating to somebody watching. So you just want to make sure and understand those things need to be considered. All right. Let me see. I got a couple comments coming up already. I look very Christmassy today. Thank you, April. Yeah, I do. It's not Christmas, but yeah. I've seen people doing Facebook Lives and they still have a Christmas tree in the background. I mean, I'm talking like yesterday. Right? January's almost over. Why have you not taken down I bet you their Christmas lights are up too. That irritates me driving down the road here and people having their Christmas lights still up on their house. It's over. It's over. Take down your Christmas lights. Take down your Christmas trees. You got to be kidding me. All right. Nabi saying hi to Michelle. Nabi loves to say hi to people that I can't see that are on right now, and it throws me every time he does that. All right, back to my banners. All right, so do you understand that in regard to blue or green screen? So that's obviously one thing you need to take into consideration. All right, one thing that you might want to. So the purpose of this tutorial. I wrote these. I have nobody write them for me. I'm only be talking about green screen because but again, just assume I'm also saying blue. Right? I don't want to always be saying, well, green or blue and green or blue. I don't want to be doing that. It's like talking about a dog, right? On my dog training podcasts and Facebook Lives, I usually refer to a dog as a he. And I know that probably upsets people, but that's just, I don't want to keep saying he or she to try to be politically correct. So I don't want the, blue people to get upset. I don't want blue man getting upset because I keep using green. All right. So just for the purposes, I'm using green. So don't get offended if you're blue. All right. Currently using the green screen option draws resources from your computer. April brought up earlier in her comment that she was getting this delay. And where that delay comes is when I'm going to the app that allows me to change my green screen, and you're probably seeing that delay now. And as I'm putting up a condo background, which is not showing for some reason. Uh-oh. Of course, the day that I'm using. So now you see, now I'm using the brick. All right, let me go back and use the furniture one, green screen. You're seeing that delay. That is because it is using resources. Uh-oh. All right, so now we have a sudden glitch. So see that? So when you begin to use the green screen, that is currently occurring. I've contacted Gage about that because I use, and here it is now, it's got a long delay. So it's drawing resources, and that happens when you are using or creating stuff, right, that people are going to utilize. Let me go ahead and get rid of it if I can. Hopefully I can do the rest of this thing. So if I get rid of it and stop using green screen, now everything goes back to normal. All right, so understand. And this is a brand new laptop that I'm using. This is a year old, I think. It may be not quite a year old. And it is a pretty powerful computer. And so just understand right now that for the time being, until they work out all the bugs, like when iPhone adds some new thing, there's, you get all these updates all of a sudden because they're trying to make sure and fix all these little glitches. Same thing with StreamYard. StreamYard's no different. They are a fantastic company, but understand that when you add a new feature, that sometimes, not always, that sometimes it can cause little glitches to occur. I've also been having problems with my internet. I got Spectrum coming today because yesterday my Wi-Fi was up and down. So that may not be helping either. All right. So I just want you to know that using the green screen option currently draws some resources out of your computer that may cause your broadcast to go a little wonky for a second. All right. Another thing you want to make sure, I already kind of talked about this, I'm going to say it one more time, is that just don't wear anything green. All right. So if you're using green screen or blue screen, don't wear anything that will cause you any problems. All right. Now let's get to the green screen itself. Before I go and show you, you want to make sure that it's smooth. You see that I don't have any wrinkles here. I have something pulling down on the bottom to straighten out all the wrinkles. So there are no wrinkles that are occurring right now. The only thing you see for me is my whiteboard that's behind the green screen. And that really, for the purposes of what StreamYard has put together, is not causing a problem. In the past, when I've used Mimo Live, which is another broadcasting platform, which is a virtual camera. You don't need to know all the details. Or Final Cut Pro and that kind of stuff. There's a lot more adjustments that can be made. And this could have been an issue back in the past. All right. So this could have been an issue. But make sure that it's clean and that it's smooth and it's pulled tight. That's kind of why I like that. I prefer this green screen. I have another green screen that is a sheet, and I have to iron it before I use it, because when you fold it up, it creates creases that will cause shadowing, and that's why you want it to be smooth so you don't get shadowing that will cause a little bit of flickering in your green screen. So make sure that it is nice and smooth. And if you are using a sheet that that you iron out the wrinkles and that kind of stuff. All right. Let's look and see what some of the comments are on. So Gage, who is the founder, one of the founders of StreamYard, is April, who's referring here. Gage was using a 10-year-old computer and his was stellar with green screen. I don't know. I know not everything is solid in explanation, but I do know that for whatever reason, it's drawing a lot of resources out of my computer, and I'm using Wi-Fi right now, and I'm only 20 feet, 30 feet away from my Wi-Fi. So they're going to work on it. I brought it to their attention, and consistently when I've used the green screen feature, my broadcast slows up a little bit. That'll upset the Irish. All right. I just can't see using green screen if it's going to be consistently wonky. I don't think it's going to be consistently wonky. And I think this is a new feature that's only been out since Monday. And people have to use it and break it. That's really important in any software, whether it is an app that's being used on your phone or on your computer, or if it's a downloaded bit of software on your computer. That almost always in the first stages, it breaks and is wonky. It just is. There's no way around it. You can't have a new feature. You can't have somebody creating, being scared to create something because it may be wonky in the beginning. It's always going to be wonky. When I had Kajabi, right? I've had Kajabi now for 5 years. In the beginning, it wasn't what it is now, because what they had to do is people had to break it. I know that I broke it plenty of times, and they were getting tired of hearing from me because I was doing stuff with it that they didn't even consider, and it would break. And I go, okay, I broke it again. Dang it. So they get in and they fix it. Okay, we fixed that little glitch and now it should be working. And it would. And so on and so forth. So yes, it's a little bit wonky. So whether it's internet connection or whether it's motherboard issues or memory issues or what it is, and maybe it's not the age of a computer, maybe it is the type of RAM, how much RAM you have on your computer. I know I have a lot, and I know that I spent way too much money for this computer, so it really shouldn't be that. However, you know what? I've not used my desktop, and my desktop is even newer and has more power than even my laptop, and they're both fairly new. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to the banners and see what I got next here. So don't wear anything green. It must be smooth and clean. Let me just make sure. I think this may have fallen out of order as I was doing something else. I thought there was one more. All right. Not. All right. So when you're going to be using the green screen, make sure that your background makes sense. I have watched some people use green screen and they do some weird stuff. I know that in the past, I've done some weird stuff just to be weird, I think, from time to time. But what it causes people to do is it causes people to focus on your background and not listen to your message. I brought that up in a lot of other areas too, that you want to make sure that when you're broadcasting, that, when people, when you're using your phone and you're using the front facing camera, that sometimes the wording on your shirt will be backwards and people get all weirded out and they're commenting about, hey, your words are backwards. Don't you know how to use? And they get all tied up in the fact that your words are backwards or your background, if you have a background and the words are backgrounds, and you get all these messages, how crazy people get. Well, understand that they're not listening to your message. Right? They're not listening to your message. And so somewhere you may need to say something like, I have my forward facing camera. The words are going to be backwards. Don't worry about it. That's just the way it is. It's not that big of a deal. But people that you may want listening to your message may find that odd. Same thing with your background. If you are talking about a great summer retreat and you are, maybe pitching a vacation in Hawaii, having the Alps in your background would not make sense, right? That's pretty obvious. And so you want to make sure your background makes sense. When I'm teaching about network marketing, I may not want to have my background showing a dog park. because they're going, but are you talking about your dog training business, or are you talking about network marketing? And so you want to make sure that your background makes sense. And that's really, really important when you're thinking about what it is you're going to do. And so I'm going to try to use my thing again. I'm not sure what was going on there earlier. Let's go ahead and see what goes on here. And there it is. All right, there, I did it. So we're using this background, and now you can see, man, I'm really dragging down. Wow. Wow, that was a long delay. Is a condo, right? So it's not my condo. It's a condo that comes with StreamYard. Wow, this is really, here I came to talk about how great StreamYard is, and right now we're having a little bit of a, not a little, this is a bigger delay than I had last time. And I have hardly any tabs open. Let me close even. I have, oops, I may have closed the one Canva that I wanted open. Hold on. I was going to utilize Canva. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of that one. And I'm going to go back here. Yeah, I only have 4 tabs open. And now I have, yeah, I still have 4 tabs open. Let me close one more and see if that changed anything. Nope. Hopefully my voice is still coming across. I'm going side to side, and I'm not going side to side on my camera. Watch, all of a sudden you'll see me go side to side. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow. That's almost a 15-second, if not more, delay. That's slow motion. Yeah. Woo. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Maybe that'll help things out. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing now. This is probably really going to kill the, you know what? Let me get rid of that banner down there. Hold on. Let me get rid of that banner so it's not also using up resources. Oops. All right. So here we go. So here is where you go to use their green screen. And you probably can't see it yet. You know, I'm going to go. Oh, I can't. Okay. So here we go. All right. So I'm going to the green screen. Here is the settings area where you're going to use your green screen. Down here are the virtual backgrounds. The first 2, the brick and the condo that I'm showing you right now, that comes with StreamYard. That becomes one of your 10. So you have 10 backgrounds, a limit of 10. And so that means you have a limit of 8 of your own. And I'm going to share with you just one thing that, a couple things you can do. And one of the things I did with my CBD company is that I created backgrounds that I have the products. Whoa. So here's the CBD product, which is on my side, and I can use that, right? Wow, how did that happen? How did that pop up? There we go. And so I can, and that's why I'm kind of pushed to the, it's actually to the right on my end, but you see me to the left on your screen, so that the image that I want to show shows up in the background. Now, if I want to go back, and I'm so sorry that we're having this long delay, I'm sure they'll get it fixed. Maybe they're working on it. Maybe that's the big deal. That's what I'm going to say for right now. And if I want to change now to another image, I just go back into the green screen and come out of it, and then you'll see the next image come up. And I could be teaching using my background. I could also use a whiteboard, which I created in Canva, that will maybe have a saying on it, and come back. And so I have the saying, good things come to people who wait, but better things come to those who go out and get them. Attack, go find them. Now, as I'm doing this is where I wanted to show you something else. Do you see how the arm of my mic boom is showing right through here? Do you see that? And you're not seeing me. I'm actually waving my hand over right now. It'll come. There you go. So you see how it's showing up right there. So what I have done is I have this green piece of paper, which you'll see hold up in front of the screen. And you'll see part of me will disappear in just one second because I'm holding up a green piece of paper. Hopefully. Wow. I am in slow motion. That is so funny. All right. So you can see how that is. So that's a green piece of paper. And I'm just going to simply put this green piece of paper, I'll show you with this green piece of paper, over that arm and make sure that, again, there's no wrinkles and it's straight. And you'll see that that will take away that little bit of arm there so that it's not an issue. I'm going to wait on my screen for me to put it on that arm. There it is. So now it's gone. Wow, that was like magic. So now it's gone. But now I got to now move it around so that my left arm doesn't disappear. And so I'll move that. There you go. And so now I was able to get rid of that black arm, and I was utilizing a green piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the green screen because we're having a little bit a glitchy problem here. And I trust that they will fix it. There we go. So back. Oh man, it's nice to be back to normal. But you see, here's that green piece of paper that I was using. This is wrapping paper from Christmas that I used. I put it over the arm. Like I put a fold in it, and I put it over the arm. So if you have something like that that's causing you some problems with blocking something, just use a green piece of paper. And you see right here where it's going to cause a problem with my arm disappearing. I can actually move that. And then just take a chance with a little bit of that black showing through. At least it's not blocking that whiteboard that I'm using as a graphic on there. All right. And that is it. That was it for my best practices for the time being. The only other one I'm going to address later on is the fact that it's pulling these resources and causing a little bit of problems. So it will, again, it will get better. I know it will, but that was a lot, right? That was a lot of resources. The only thing I didn't do before I started my Facebook Live is that I didn't close out all the apps and then shut off my computer and turn it back on. I do that. Again, that's what I teach people to do. And that was done in connectivity. If you scroll down on the Facebook Live TV show or the book producers, publishers group that I'm also broadcasting on, or on YouTube that I'm broadcasting on, whatever you're watching this on, scroll down and you'll see one that I just did yesterday or the day before yesterday on connectivity that will talk about the things you need to do to make sure that you are focusing your resources on your live broadcast and not on other things. And some things you need to do to make sure that you have as much power coming from your computer. So watch that. I'm not sure. I can't guarantee it's going to solve this problem with using the green screen app at this moment. Again, I don't think it'll be a problem that will last very long as they begin to try to fix and figure out what's going on with this thing. All right. So let's look at a couple of these things. I can understand not going down that path. It is the best quality, but I've also seen some that you really can't tell they have a fake backdrop and love these. Love those. Yes. There's some good ones. Just be careful, right? You don't want it to become an issue, right? That people are going, typing you in the middle of your broadcast, asking you questions about your background, right? You want to make it very understood. So I like using one that's obviously a green screen, which would be those graphics where I'm using something, that kind of stuff, that to people that watch the news, to people that watch the weather guy on television, understand that he's using a green screen. At least I hope people understand that. If you're not, then you need to get with it. But a weatherman is weather people are always, I'm going to take a chance and say are always using a green screen, right? And so that they're not floating over the ocean, giving you the weather of the ocean, right? And so people don't question it. And same thing when you're using it to teach, that you're using that whiteboard, that's an obvious look for a green screen, that it becomes obvious and it's not an issue that people are going to be coming to. But when you begin to use a background that just doesn't make any sense, right? You have a desk, and I've done this myself though. You have a desk and you have a computer and you're obviously using power and you have lighting, but you're in the middle of a field. Doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense to the person watching, especially when they're watching you for the first time and don't know who you are and don't know you may be joking. I'm only saying that just consider it. If you want to be the random person sitting on the moon when you're teaching, that may be your brand. That may be something you're doing, and it will be kind of funny, right? If you're doing a show like we used to do, I used to green screen when my daughter and that was using something else, not as a virtual camera, and that was using green screen using the Game of Thrones. My daughter and I used to do a show on the Game of Thrones, an unauthorized after show for the Game of Thrones. And we used green screen a few times on that, and having the throne, right? The Iron Throne in the background, or a dragon in the background, again, makes sense. And people, I think, understand that I'm obviously just didn't transport myself to Ireland, to Dublin, where they were filming, Game of Thrones at that time. So make sure that just makes sense. Hey, Melanie Foster, nice to see you. Awesome. Yep. You can catch the replay and you'll see that for right now, there's a little bit of a glitch, but it again, I think it will still work. And just keep them in mind when you decide to use your, and I'll come back and do this again. I figured out the download. Very cool. Very nice. I just used StreamYard a few minutes ago. Super smooth and very clear. Yeah, it is a great platform. Again, I don't want you to judge StreamYard based on this little glitch that we're having with the green screen thing. Again, I have already approached Gage with it, and they're working on it. They're going to figure it out, and he was very thankful that I talked to him about it. And I'm sure I'm probably not the only one. And I think April has probably talked to them too. And so it will get worked out because they are that good. That's one of the things I love about Gage and Dan is that when you present them with an issue that you want to address, they reply right away and they respond. It doesn't mean they're going to fix it right away because the problem could be greater than something that just needs like a little turn of a dial or something like that, or a click on a little button. It could take more to figure out how they're doing it. What I like that they're doing and they're trying to do is that you don't have to download anything else, right? You don't have to use another tool to use the green screen feature. They're trying to keep it within the platform, keeping with their mission statement of keeping things simple so that it's not too complicated for the average person to use. And to begin using a feature, right? Sometimes you have something added to a program like Kajabi, for instance. I love Kajabi, but every so often I run into something that there is no way, even with me using Kajabi for 5 years, that I would have ever figured out the solution to something without getting a hold of support. And they even are confused and go, well, we're not sure. Let me get back to you on that. And it takes a team of us to figure out the solution. Now, as you know, I love Kajabi, but that's what I'm talking about. That rarely does StreamYard add a feature that the average person could not, with just a little bit of time, figure it out, or ask me or April or somebody else, say, hey, how do we do this? And we can give them a really quick answer. And it doesn't take like this huge explanation on coding in order to help that person understand that it's just simply that you have to do this one thing, you move it over here, and now all of a sudden it works and everything's fine. Or it's something on their end that they need to go back to their laboratory and put their their laboratory hat on and figure out what the solution is going to be. Dale says he bought some green screen material at Hobby Lobby for $8. Nice. Yeah, that is the sheet. You probably did the same thing. I went to what is the name of that material place where you buy material if you're going to sew? I was the only guy in there. What is that called? Joann's. So I went to Joann's and got green screen material like this paper, but it was a sheet of linen. What you call it? Linen. I'm not sure I ever said linen in my entire life, but it was just a cloth, right? A green cloth that I put up. What I didn't realize is that the moment I folded it and stored it for a couple months, that it put these creases in there that were causing me problems in some production that I was doing later on, that I had to take an iron and iron those things out. Again, what I like about this spandex kind of stuff, for those of you that joined a little bit late, let me go ahead and expand out here. So you can see this is a spandex. These are just thumbtacks in my wall. My mom would have killed me for putting thumbtacks in a wall. This is my living room, our family room, where we have the television and the couch and stuff like that. But I put thumbtack everywhere you see a point, like right here is a thumbtack, right? And I tried to use green thumbtacks, but I ran out of green thumbtacks, so I don't have any more. But those are thumbtacks that I just pushed into the wall. It's my house. I can do whatever I want. I can putty those over. Not a big deal. But this is, again, it's a spandex material that you just spread it out. And if there are any wrinkles, they get all smoothed out. And then down below, I have a clamp that's pretty heavy, and that pulls down on this part of it because I ran out of thumbtacks and makes it smooth. All right. Again, the white thing you see in the background is the whiteboard that you've normally seen. If you see me go live, that is what that is back there. All right. Any more comments coming in? I'm using a recording studio for my background. Looks cool. Yes, very nice. I used to have this newsroom that I used, and it looked pretty good. I like the newsroom effect. That was awesome. Excellent green screen. Thank you. Yes. Get it on. I think I got it as a gift. I think Mike Koenigs gave it to me as a gift for Publish and Profit, I think. Thumbtacks in your wall. That's why you're not allowed to live at home. I am home. This is my home. I pay for this dang house. I can put thumbtacks in it if I want. All right. So, well, that was a fun broadcast, and all my good friends are on. Bruce and Melanie and Dale and Nobby, and who did I miss? April. I missed somebody else, I think. Anyway, I'm so glad you joined. I hope these tips were helpful in showing you what you can do. When I used it the other day, the delay was not as bad. And that was on Monday. The day that it went live, I was able to use it without much delay. And so it was pretty cool. I was just changing my background based on what I was talking about. And it made for a really cool, just a different way of doing a broadcast on showing the different products and announcement on a convention coming up and some other stuff, and was able to change that background. Where I had the delay was only when I went to the settings window. And then when I went back, that actually solved the delay. But today, for whatever reason, it is not. Let me try one more time, just for fun, for those of you that are still hanging on, because you find me so dang entertaining. Let me go to this one here with the white board. Oh yeah, I can already see it's going to be delayed. La-da. Oh, and here's the paper. I'm going to put my paper up to block the arm. Ooh, what happened there? Oh, I see what's happening. Wow. All right. Awesome. I love it when we break stuff, and then I'm going to task Gage with fixing it. I'm going to send him this Facebook Live. All right, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and wait. Let me go before I do that, because I want my video to show. Super important that you see my video. All right. Hold on. I'm talking to myself. All right. Wow. That was crazy. Okay. New comment. Let's see. Look at that fun paint job. Yeah. Nice edge. I know. I haven't decided what color I want to paint it yet. Bruce, thanks for pointing that out. I keep changing my mind. I don't know what I'm gonna do. The reason I don't paint the edges, because that's where the work is, right? When you're painting, you can just take the roller and paint all the middle. But when you get to the edge, you go, oh, do I want to do all that work? Especially if I'm going to change the color. And maybe I'm going to paint it green, right? That's one of the possibilities that I've looked at, that this wall, I may paint green screen green. That way all I have to do is take off the whiteboard and I have my green screen. That's one of the options I've been looking at. So thanks, Bruce, for pointing that out. I appreciate you. Bruce is always good for pointing that kind of stuff out, and I do appreciate that very much. I love him because he's awesome. All right. So I hope these tips have been helpful. Thank you, all of you, for joining and helping me get through this show and having fun with that little bit of glitch that was going on. Not a big deal. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.